Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And Matt, you want to introduce our special guest here?
Yeah, we got some special movies as we start seeing Double March. We've got a special guest with us this week, Mr. Alex Vasquez. Say hello to everyone out there in Analog Jones land.
Hello, everyone in Analog Jones land.
Alex and I are putting together the Windy City Hororama.
Woo!
Yay! Which is the festival you've heard me talk about many a times on the podcast. That's going to be happening April 27th through 29th at the Davis Theater in Chicago.
In the Lincoln Square neighborhood, walking distance from where we are currently recording.
Yes.
And that's all romantic comedies, correct?
Yes. Only the sweetest and cutest films that we could find.
So when are you putting together the brunch and the actual show?
So we've got a brunch coming up. This episode's going to drop March 2nd. So March 3rd is going to be our brunch.
Yeah, whatever that Saturday is.
Yeah, that's Saturday the 3rd, I believe it is,
Yeah.
is our brunch at Fat Cat, which is in Uptown on Broadway near Lawrence. And if you're listening to this the day that this drops, come out tomorrow.
Please do. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yes.
If you show up, we'll be hanging out there showing horror movies the whole time in the back room, so you can join us. But if you're just going there for brunch and you mention a horror society when you receive your check, 15% of your bill will go to the film festival, which is really cool because you don't even have to pay us anything.
No,
it's just whatever you ordered. A portion of it is gonna go to us out of the goodwill of our good friends at Fat Cat. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it's gonna be awesome, and like Alex said, you don't even have to like bring anything. Just come and eat.
Yeah.
Come and eat and hang with
out.
us.
Yeah, hang out.
Come have a few mimosas and watch some horror movies with us. We'll have some giveaway thingies, and we'll have some stuff for sale, like posters and toys and things like that as well. That, of course, all goes to help make the festival all the more epic than it already is going to be.
And is this where you're going to announce everything that will be playing?
No, we've got an announcement party coming up on March 23rd, which is a Friday. Mm-hmm. We'll be at Bucket of Blood, which you've heard us talk about many times on the podcast in the Avondale neighborhood. We are going to announce the entire schedule there, and we're going to give out the programs on March 23rd. It's going to be the first place you can hear of everything that's going to be playing before tickets probably go on sale that Monday, I'm assuming, somewhere around that time. So,
and how much will tickets be?
Tickets are going to be $12 each movie. Simple.
Yeah.
Simple. Just everything you want to see.
Individual tickets, $12 each.
Yep.
As it stands right now, it's looking like since Davis accepts Movie Pass, you will be able to use your Movie Pass to redeem for one film per day at the festival.
Right. And we still, that money still helps us. It goes to the Davis still. Yep. Everybody wins.
It's good money.
So for you, if you have a Movie Pass, it's free for your first movie you go to see that day. Mm-hmm. How awesome is that?
Yeah, you lose nothing.
Yeah, except for being able to use your Movie Pass later in the day, but you're not going to need to because you're going to be hanging out with us all night.
Yeah.
So
who wants to see those stupid Hollywood films?
Yeah, our program is going to consist of some new exciting stuff, making the festival rounds, some Chicago premieres, in addition to a couple of anniversary favorites that we're very excited about. All of this will be TBD. Come to our event on the 23rd to hear all about it.
Yes.
And in addition, we are making a point to have this be a local showcase as well. So we're gathering a crop of really exciting local independent horror productions that we will be boosting the profile of as well, making sure they get on a big screen. You get to interact with the filmmakers. We really want it to be a big celebration of all things horror in Chicago, from the fans to the classics to the people who make it here.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's festivals all over the world, but I think what we're trying to do is, we're from the indie filmmaking world. We're both indie filmmakers, and we just want to give an outlet to those filmmakers that are working within the genre, because they're working so hard, and they can get lost in these big, huge festivals, and the movies have merit and they need to be seen. And I think Chicago has a great audience for those.
Very supportive, very, I don't know, it's a community. It feels like a family, so we're just trying to cultivate that some more. Really, really excited about it. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a big party. It's a 3-day party.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing that's going to set our fest apart, is it is going to be a party.
That's the goal. Yeah. So
it's awesome. It sounds great. I can't wait to actually attend that and see as many films as I can in that weekend. We'll see how much coffee I go through. Just keeping me up, and I'll be ready.
Be sure to, for all the news updates, everything that's going on in the coming weeks, more details, any other events that we may have coming up in the coming months, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Windy City Hororama, Twitter, and Instagram. We've been pretty active on all three of those. We may do some giveaways, specific details, things like that. That'll all be, we update that stuff every day. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We love to hear from you guys. So we're available, always available.
Yeah, and please definitely like and keep an eye on all three of those pages. We just gave away tickets to the Strangers new movie on the social media. So if you definitely like it to keep up what we're doing, but I know you guys like to win free stuff too. So definitely like it, because we're going to try to do more of that stuff as well as the promotional stuff for our fest. Like I said, people are excited about the Strangers, so we gave away some tickets to that. So anything to bring some eyes over to the social media sites. Definitely do it. Like them all.
Awesome. All right, let's move on to our tapes we've got here, Seeing Double in March. Matt, why don't you go ahead and introduce our first movie, War Room, and its box art.
Well, let me explain actually what we're doing, because this is a bit weird.
Yes,
it is. It's a bit different for us before I get into each of the movies here. What we have here is a promotional tape that was sent out to video stores, video rental stores in the 90s, which was something they sent out in order to get orders for the movies. This is a VidMark tape, so 2 TriMark films that came out. They put on the same tape in order to say, hey, video stores, check out these movies, show that we have these quality features. Well, varying quality.
We'll discuss that further.
But quality features, so you can order them from us. And this is a double tape that includes The War Room and Death Wish 5, The Face of Death.
VidMark Entertainment is proud to bring you a special double feature presentation of 2 nationwide theatrical releases coming to you on video. First, it's the Academy Award nominated film, hailed by critics everywhere, The War Room. Then, Charles Bronson returns in the explosive sequel, Death Wish 5, The Face of Death. Before these features begin, we'll show you the trailers for Silent Tongue and The Stoned Age. These 2 films are opening soon in theaters everywhere from TriMark Pictures and coming your way from VidMark. Then, please take a look at the brief marketing presentations for The War Room and Death Wish 5.
And it is a screening cassette for tape orderers. And these things went out specifically to video stores. You couldn't purchase them in the 90s. But there were so many video stores in the 90s that got these. Now that people are reselling tapes to Goodwills and Salvation Armies and stuff like that, taking them over, you find these anywhere now. These are kind of popular to find, these screener tapes, as they were called. So we're taking a look at The War Room and Death Wish 5 this week.
The Face of Death.
So for those who don't know what The War Room is, it is a 1993 documentary that was nominated for an Academy Award about the Clinton campaign, and the people who ran it, which were James Carville and George Stephanopoulos, are the focus of the documentary.
In the 1960s, D.A. Pennybaker's Don't Look Back and Monterey Pop captured the legends of rock and roll. Now, D.A. Pennybaker and Chris Hedges bring us the making of the first president from the rock and roll generation.
somebody who's been through a lot of tough elections, James Carville is known as the Raging Cajun in the business.
So let me tell you what's at stake in this election. It's about George Bush and the whole sleazy little cabal of them. You're going to get tax breaks for the wealthy. You're going to get a guy that doesn't know what a grocery store scanner is. I'm getting sick and tired. I am every single night hearing one of these carping little liberal Democrats jumping all over my you-know-what.
I'm George Stephanopoulos. I'm Director of Communications.
Bush was on the defensive. Another good night for Bill Clinton. 3 debates, 3 wins. I guarantee you that if you do this, you'll never work in Democratic politics again.
If we cannot believe anything he has said about his past, how can we believe anything he's saying about the future?
Well, I think Mary Mallon's got a good career in fiction writing when this is over.
The first one we look at, should we just take a look at the art here?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's not really much on it. We've got an American flag, and but I think our quotes are what people will really want to hear. Because really, you get George Stephanopoulos in his in his amazing denim jacket with the sleeves rolled up, but only once.
Yeah.
Yes.
Only the early '90s style icon, truly.
Yes. and we've got James Carville in his, like, what would you call it, like, iconic look of this film.
Yeah, the Mardi Gras colored rugby jersey with like these multicolored stripes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what that is, right? It's just a rugby shirt.
Yeah, the Raging Cajun uniform.
Yeah, and they're
Norm
looking
core, baby.
Yeah, and I was looking very pensive in the corner of this tape as, like, the flag is draped over them and, like, a negative space White House in the background.
Oh,
that's because that's their goal.
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for.
They're pondering over their goal.
And the tagline is something that they mention in the film, but it is, "They change the way campaigns are won." Yeah, and it has the big old stamp on there that this is an Academy Award nominee for Best Documentary in 1993. And here's some of the quotes that they've pulled for this marketing tape. "Funny and frenetic" by the New York Daily News. 4-star, merits Oscar consideration. Well, they got there. USA Today, 2 thumbs up, Siskel and Ebert, and a remarkably entertaining film from People magazine.
Oh, if People magazine says it's entertaining. A documentary, guys?
Yeah.
They were praising a doc.
TV guide.
A tabloid
is praising a doc.
Is praising a doc. It's amazing. Must be good, right?
Yeah, it must be worth ordering, guys. So we've got the Vidmark logo and the closed caption logo, but it does have slapped across there the double feature full-length screening cassette that includes promotional trailers.
Yes, just in case you couldn't tell from this already, but yeah, they let you know like 15 times on this VHS that it's a double feature.
And it opens up like a book.
Yeah.
Front cover,
flap,
tabs
front
open.
Flap, yeah. Front flap.
And it is an Academy Award nominee, Best Documentary 1993. Again, huge across the top. And we've got the negative space White House in the background again. And we've got 2 stills, which is focusing on the obvious stars of the movie of James Carville and George Stephanopoulos. Once again, the still, though, is them in their uniforms for the movie and their iconic looks. And then the other still is them sort of like active, looking on the phone or something like that, talking about the campaign. Hard to kind of pull action stills from like a documentary where people talk in a room, but like they did their best.
They're trying real hard on this.
Yeah, to make this. That's probably why they were pushing the Oscar nominee thing.
Yeah,
like this is how you sell a doc.
Yeah, exactly.
Prestige,
Oscars.
prestige.
A totally charming, smart, behind-the-scenes roller coaster of a movie from The Village Voice. A must-see, highly entertaining, The New York Post. Great fun, one for the archives, New York Times. Full of biting and amusing moments, The Los Angeles Times. All these are huge on the top, trying to sell it. At the bottom, underneath the White House, we have a 1993 theatrical release in all major markets, like stamp. So we know that this was like a big theatrical release. Here's some of the advertising things they pull from this. One of the most critically acclaimed movies of 1993. Behind-the-scenes insiders look at how successful presidential campaign is waged. In the tradition of popular films such as Bob Roberts, which 65,000 units sold, and Roger and Me, 75,000 units sold. High consumer awareness through trailers on Video Pipeline and upcoming Vidmark releases, Deadfall, and the Philadelphia Experiment 2. I feel like TriMark came in and bought this because it was obviously going to win or get a nomination. They were like, people are going to take us seriously now, and they're like, fuck. How do we sell this? We've never sold anything like this before.
Yeah.
We're used to selling Leprechaun movies.
Yeah, Charles Bronson movies.
And then they have a pay-per-view holdback for 90 days, which was kids. But this was something they used to do back in the day. When a movie would come out on video, the only way you could see it would be to go to your rental store and get it. You had to leave your house. Pay-per-view wouldn't be for 90 days, and it wouldn't be on TV for like 6 months after it came out.
Which I should mention, pay-per-view, like in the early 90s, that was pretty much meant rich people. Because when you were poor where I grew up, that was non-existent.
That's right.
You had to call in.
Not an option.
You had to call in, give your credit card number, and be like, I want to order this movie. So it was like basically your analog version of on demand.
Yeah,
and
but that right there is where the government gets it.
That's where they get your information.
However, in their defense, maybe for the War Room, pay-per-view was a more viable option for their projected audience.
Yeah, true. It's
where
true.
It was like rich, learned, college-educated people who wanted to whose idea of like an exciting Friday night was, let's pop in the movie about the presidential campaign.
Can't wait to watch this, Alex. It's going to be great.
Oh, boy, I'm going to get my notebook out. Take notes.
Fucking liberals. We just spent the Saturday watching it, so I can't even, and I enjoyed myself.
Hey, this has been on my watch list for years, so I don't know what that says about me.
I really enjoyed this film.
Mm-hmm.
Beat the opposition with a 2-pack deal.
Oh, okay.
So you can get 2 of them if you order. So you get 2 of them to put on your shelf when you get them for your video rental store.
They had a discount options for retailers who were buying in bulk.
Yeah. So your order date was in May, and your street date was in May. 96 minutes, color PG, but also this is available on Laserdisc as well. Ooh. So if you're ordering in your store is one of those fancy schmancy stores that carries those new fangled movies on discs, you can get a laser disc sent to your store because it's also available that way. Before we get into talking about the War Room, let me just finish talking about this box real quick. I'll give you the Death Wish stuff.
Yeah, flip it to the other side.
Yeah, so if you flip it to the back, instead of getting like a synopsis and the credit block like we're used to getting, we get the other movie's cover. So we get Death Wish 5, The Face of Death with Charles Bronson. No judge, no jury, no appeals, no deals.
What a lie!
In the world of glamour and high fashion, a new crime syndicate is taking over.
Peekaboo. I watched this guy coming up through the Irish gangs. You know, he's ruthless.
He's infiltrated every aspect of my business.
Their methods are brutal.
Promise me if anything should happen to me, you'll take care of Chelsea.
Olivia! Gone. The one thing they didn't count on was an enemy who wouldn't back down.
You know, these people, they steal, they murder, destroy people's lives, and get away with it. Kersey's no amateur. You've got a problem.
Charles Bronson is back.
I'm coming for you, O'Shea.
And this time, he's not leaving until his wish is their command.
No judge, no jury, no appeal, and no deals.
And this is Charles Bronson with his little 6-shooter that he barely uses in the movie. We'll get to standing in front of an official-looking building, but I'm not really sure which one. Some sort of courthouse.
Not one in the movie, that's for sure. That looks nothing like anything I saw in the movie.
Charles Bronson has his name huge above the title. Like, you know he's getting paid on this. For Death Wish 5, The Face of Death. This one's rated R, so if you were watching this with War Room, you'd have to send the kids to bed after their exciting documentary about the Clinton campaign.
I'm pretty sure that would put them to bed.
We got the 21st Century logo, which is the Golden Globus duo that we've talked about many a times before on here. But we'll get to that.
You mean you've seen some Canon films on this show? I find that hard to believe.
Somehow we've only watched one Canon film.
But they come up, I think, every week.
Yes.
I'm sure.
If you flip over to the side, you get both movies. listed on there, War Room Death Wish 5. And on the top, it's pretty funny. It like tells you that this screener is recorded in EP mode. The finished product will be recorded in a higher quality SP mode.
Remember, in order to accommodate 2 features on 1 cassette, this screener was recorded in extended play. However, all finished goods will be finished in standard play. And now, enjoy the show.
Which means, which is like code for you're not going to be able to hear a goddamn thing when you're watching these.
I mean, they're using the same amount of tape that you use for a full feature for 2 features, cramming it on that tape. I mean, you are losing massive quality on this.
Yeah.
So these movies might be shit here, but we promise you the real stuff is great.
Yeah, right. Like, as in, like, if you think the movie's bad, don't worry. It'll be better in the regular one when you order it.
The book, like, flip format of Death Wish 5 is more exciting than the actual movie.
Yeah, when you flip open Death Wishes, it's awesome. Nationwide 1994 theatrical release.
Which was code for...
a limited January release.
We played it in New York and Los Angeles, guys. It's a bi-coastal release. That's across the whole country.
More action than the first 4 put together. Satellite News Network.
The fucking lie.
As good as, if not better than, the first UPI. I just want to point out, like, those quotes, there's only 2 of them, and there's like 1,000 quotes for, like, War Room. War Room's quotes come from the New York Daily News, USA Today, Siskel and Ebert, the New York Post, the New York Times, the Los Angeles Times. Death Wish's quotes come from UPI and the Satellite News Network.
What are those?
I don't even know if those are real.
No, guys, those are totally on par. Completely.
Same level.
One place is from Australia.
We get the no judge, no jury, no appeals, no deals tagline again in here.
Really all they got.
Yeah, they don't even try with anything new. Get Bronson pointing a gun outside of a car, which I don't think is a shot in the movie at all.
Nope.
And we see the picture of his girlfriend, who is Lesley-Anne Down, who they're really advertising is in this. They say she's in Rough Cut and Great Train Robbery. I don't know who this is. And then we get a great stunt, which we'll talk about when we talk about the movie, but a guy flying through a window. We get
somebody on fire.
Somebody on fire. We get Bronson shoving a shotgun in somebody's chest. You know, action movie shit. Once again, this is available on Laserdisc, but this one's got an awesome offer. Buy 5, get 1 free for your store. 5-pack offer includes a discount. So Bronson, they list his credits as Dirty Dozen, Magnificent 7, The Great Escape, and Death Wish 1 through 5. You know, okay. Yeah. And then Saul Rubinek is inexplicably used as like the special appearance by in this movie, but I'm thinking it's because he was in Unforgiven and Wall Street right before this. Yeah. That's what they advertise here.
He was the writer, right? In Unforgiven, he was always following him around, writing down what he was doing.
It's been a long time since I've seen that movie. I don't remember.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
So massive theatrical consumer awareness, extensive print, TV, radio advertising generating over 600 million consumer impressions. CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox, national promotions with Subway, Blockbuster, and something with a logo that's so small I can't read it. Domino's, I think.
Domino's, yep.
Highly successful franchise, theatrical box office, Death Wish 1 through 4 totaling over $70 million. Video units totaling over 800,000 units.
Trust us, guys. We really did advertise this.
You're gonna want to buy Death Wish 5, retailers.
It's gonna blow your mind.
Your consumers will want to buy this shit. Like, as opposed to come see this movie.
Please take VidMark serious.
Right. So you sort of get a window into like what the video stores were like how these things were distributed in the 90s.
How they were schlepped.
Yeah, in the early 90s. What it would be like to own a video store if you didn't own a video store.
Yeah, this would be like your regular person getting a Sears catalog in the mail. Like, there's like, look at all this stuff you can buy. So they needed to be sent actual movies to know if they wanted to buy them and rent them out to sell them. Because, I mean, like, at one point they put in the promotion, buy 5 Death Wishes and get the 6th one free. That's the one where I looked at it, I'm like, wow, what?
Yeah, this is definitely not for consumers. So, yeah, we're talking about what happens when we pop in that tape. And, yeah, they basically explicitly say at the beginning, here's what we're going to give you. Mm-hmm. And then it leads into the first trailer, which is the first thing they want to give us is their theatrical releases they have right now. And what's the first trailer we get?
We get Silent Tongue, which surprised all of us when we saw River Phoenix was in it. Yeah. And this was a crazy, weird, kind of LSD trip Native American trailer. I don't even know what to think about this.
Directed by Pulitzer Prize winner Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see it now. Let's find a VHS of that.
Yeah.
I dig on Sam Shepard, so R.I.P.
Yeah, if we find this, we should do this because it looks weird.
Yeah, that's I think I'm drawn to it because it's just so weird and I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And it's got like that. It looks like it's got that like early '90s, like stay with me here, early '90s like hot cinematography, where everything looks sweaty and then like
sweaty,
orange.
It's everybody kind of. I'm wondering if Ernest Dickerson shot it. The cinematographer of Do the Right Thing, who really coined that in 1989, the sweatiest movie ever.
Some of the oranges and everything, it reminded me kind of like Near Dark. Where everything looks like everyone looks uncomfortable.
Yeah, my brain goes to like a Last of the Mohicans or something like that, where it is like sandy and like hot,
earthy.
Yeah, earthy's a good word.
Earthy. Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, the Silent Tongue looks pretty good. I would see it.
So our next trailer in this was a complete, as Alex coined it, Dazed and Confused ripoff. It is The Stoned Age.
The Stoned Age.
This looks fun though. Like it does look like absolutely like a Dazed and Confused knockoff, but like would watch.
Yeah, it looked more like it was a little bit more metalhead than hippie. Seemed to be the stoner metalhead.
It looked like one of the good National Lampoon's movies.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it kind of had that feel. To it. A little bit 90s MTV looking too.
Yeah. I was like, did Adam Rifkin direct this movie? Because that's like the feel I immediately got from the trailer, but he did not. But
yeah, there was a time period in the 90s where we were getting, like Airheads, we were getting Wayne's World, Wayne's World 2.
You're speaking right to my heart. Like these are like my favorite movies of the 90s. Like Airheads
Empire Records, like this like music, kind of hard rock. I don't know what happened to it when it died, maybe like probably 1998, right? Yeah. But it was really big for a while.
I mean, all those 90s rock and roll record store media movies. That was my childhood, man. I love those things. So
back when that was the gag I was saying, the CD boom.
Yes.
The CDs and videos. It's like, this is never gonna die. We're gonna live forever. We're never gonna see this market fade away.
After the trailers, we get an amazing set of promos, one for War Room, one for Death Wish, about why you should buy these tapes.
Yeah. Before the movies begin.
Right,
it's like a sales pitch.
Yeah.
As if the movies themselves wouldn't be enough.
Right. They're like, you have to buy these movies, here's why. We'll show you the movie, don't worry, but let's let this try to sway you. Yeah. And basically it's a lot of the same information that I read in here, where you get the deal and where they're going to be advertising it, how many units of these things have been sold.
Currently in theatrical release in cities nationwide, Death Wish 5, The Face of Death, is the hot new addition to one of the most successful series in movie history. Now, this explosive sequel comes to video to thrill its built-in audience of fans everywhere. Death Wish 1, 2, 3, and 4 have earned a total of $70 million at the box office and sold over 800,000 units on video. And remember, action films are seeing even more action this year, as Video Store Magazine reports a near 10% jump in January rentals, with action titles leading the way. In Death Wish 5, Charles Bronson returns to his role as the self-appointed Avenger of Injustice. His high-powered co-stars include Lesley-Anne Down of Rough Cut and The Great Train Robbery, and Saul Rubinek of Unforgiven and Wall Street. TriMark Pictures has backed this much-awaited thriller with a media budget of over $2.6 million, generating over 600 million consumer impressions. TV spots for the film have aired on NBC, ABC, CBS, and Fox, appearing in top programs such as NYPD Blue and Coach, with placement in AFC and NFC playoff games and all major college bowl games. Print advertising has appeared in newspapers nationwide, with specialized ads in military, Hispanic, and Afro-American publications. A massive radio campaign has included radio ads on top market stations and promotional tie-ins with radio stars such as Rick Dees, Rush Limbaugh, and Howard Stern. Additional support has included local promotions with Subway, Blockbuster, and The Warehouse. Now, Vidmark will back the video release with full-page ads in Video Business, Video Store, and Video Software magazines. And we'll tell renters all about this title by placing the film's trailer on Video Pipeline and other top Vidmark films that include Return of the Living Dead 3 and Deadfall. To ensure powerful profits, buy 5 copies of Death Wish 5 and get a 6th copy absolutely free. Join Charles Bronson in the sequel guaranteed to deliver killer rentals. Death Wish 5, The Face of Death. Exploding onto video with an order date of May 31st and a street date of June 15th. More great action from Vidmark Entertainment.
Stuff like that, but like it's just like amazing to watch, like a 1990s video pitch for a movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were trying really hard. I remember, I think Alex, you mentioned all the like metrics they were throwing at you.
Lots of
like,
numbers.
You're gonna make so much money.
Yeah,
you're gonna be rich and famous, just like Charles Bronson.
We get a separate promo for each movie that's on there. Both of them like start with the trailers for the movies, and then it like trails off. Like you get like the War Room's trailer starts, and then it's like so many units projected to be sold, stuff like that. Like it's really fun. It's it's definitely a window to another era.
The one that I thought was really funny was on the Death Wish trailer. Was they were flaunting the ad space that they purchased on major networks to go in front of like NFL games and other like manly programs to be like, we're pitching at the correct demographic here. It's like football, sports,
man stuff.
Yeah, man stuff.
Don't worry, we're not putting this on Oprah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like that was their like sort of thing.
My God.
All right, is that enough nostalgia for this shit? Should we get into the movies?
Let's tear into it. The first note I have is uncomfortable close-ups of Bill Clinton.
Yeah, that's how this starts.
Yeah. It's getting you up close and personal.
One of the early comments we had in the movie, and I totally agree with, was this movie starts you right off. You get the Bill Clinton phone call where he's doing his campaigning, and then immediately the scandal. The first scandal.
Yeah.
Like, this movie starts you right off.
The 12-year affair.
The 12-year affair, which they don't really necessarily, like, resolve because it's not what the movie's about. It's about how his guys are going to spin the story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty firmly after this sort of, like, flurry of information, it puts you in the shoes of political strategist, campaign manager James Carville, who we soon sort of know as his own media personality, and George Stephanopoulos as well, that they sort of gain a second career after this movie. Kind of turns them into mini celebrities, into like CNN, like talk show hosts. James Carville, of course, on Crossfire. Stephanopoulos.
He has his own show now on like Sunday mornings, right? Meet the Press or one of those.
Yeah, he did some of that. I remember he like couldn't. If I remember correctly, he could not moderate the 2016 Republican primary debate because they didn't want a Democrat asking the questions, because that's where we are as a country.
Wasn't me first this time. Wasn't me first.
Yeah, there you go. But this film is co-directed also by the legendary D.A. Pennebaker, who the cinema verite documentarian who still kicking, nonagenarian, famously made the music documentaries in the 60s, Bob Dylan, Don't Look Back, and the Monterey Pop Festival, so among many others.
And he's 92 years old now, right? Still
something
doing
like
his
that.
thing?
Yeah, like 91, 92.
That's
amazing.
Awesome.
He released a movie like a couple years ago.
That's awesome.
About monkeys.
Wow.
But anyway, really, it kind of puts that verite style where it's really just like dudes with cameras running around this like just like totally crazy environment where, I mean, it feels it's a war room. It's a circle of people just kind of hurling ideas at each other. TV's going constantly. Carville just like throwing zingers across the room, and Stephanopoulos actually sort of like is this just like very peaceful, like sort of Zen presence in the other side of the room, sort of this this picture of like calm, quiet, cool as the public relations guy, the communications director. There you go.
Except for when he like kind of snaps at the end and he's like, if you print this, I will end your career.
It's like he brought the heat when it was necessary. Right, it was like a good cop, bad cop sort of thing.
Totally was, absolutely. Because Carville's just like what they call him, the Raging Cajun. He's just screaming all the time.
Yeah, he's a whirling dervish, but just like spinning threads with his tongue, just like this. He could really turn a phrase. It's economics, stupid. This is a great line.
So I noticed in this, like, they must have changed like how campaigning was done, because this was like kind of the beginning of the 24-hour news cycle. And I was starting to feel a little bit of that tabloid feel, like when his lover of 12 years was on there and her giant shoulder pads, which I assume she was going to go straight out to
perfectly coiffed hair.
Ridiculous hair. It was amazing. But the guy who yells when they're taking questions, did he use a condom? And I'm like, yep, that's the news I know.
That's where it started, right there.
But it wasn't quite there yet, because then her rep was just like jumped right on that and is like, we're not answering questions like that. That's disgusting. Like,
that's where that's like the seed was planted.
There was still like an air of like respectability
decency,
to it, but
barely. But it was somewhat there.
Well, the thing I think they mentioned early on, and it is a signifier of what was to come with the 24-hour news cycle, was that Carville's like, they're running a press conference for something that like a tabloid published. Like this is something like that the Star covered, was this 12-year affair, but now all of a sudden it's being covered by all these major news outlets. Like it went from Star to that, and that sort of spread, I think, is the beginning of that 24-hour news cycle oversaturation. Dumb news that we have today.
And as Clinton had mentioned when they asked about it, he's like, this is being published in the Star. They publish stories about Martians walking the Earth. Nobody's asking me about if Martians walk the Earth. Like, that's kind of,
the most Clinton answer he could give.
He could talk his way around anything.
And which so is just why he had all those freaking affairs, probably.
Because he could talk his way out of it.
He was a smooth talker. He was a smooth guy.
Now, as a smooth talker, we should also go right into Mr. George W. Bush George H.
Senior. Yeah.
Wow. There's a lot of lines in here I can't understand him. And then when it was showing his zingers, wow, did they fall flat. Just a dud. There's one of them, whatever he says, the audience, like, for about 2 seconds, doesn't start laughing and clapping because they don't even know it's the zinger.
Yeah, like wait, is he done?
That was it?
And they're,
Oh, yeah.
Our old white man is right, yay!
He was saying something about the opposition campaign trying to get on his you-know-what? I don't know. Like, it was weird.
Your who-know-you-knows-what, or whatever he, like, stumbled through saying.
There was a lot of pronouns in there that really, it didn't work.
Who was harder to understand, Bush or the Raging Cajun sometimes?
Well, Carville, on top of having this like sort of like Cajun, like Louisiana accent, we're also dealing with the very low quality. So I could like often hear your TV like warring against the tape to like try to like force some like legible audio out of it. There were some things where like I need to find and we'll quiz your viewer, or we'll quiz your listeners here. One of the two of these movies has since been re-released by Janice Films in the Criterion Collection as a lovingly restored Blu-ray. Guess which one? The War Room or Death Wish 5, The Face of Death? If you guess Death Wish 5, you're correct.
It's the very few quizzes that our fans will pass. We got some good laughs out of the War Room. I can definitely see why it was liked so many and got the nomination for the Oscar, because it rode that line of very humorous and very interesting, which is tough to do,
and at times kind of repellent too. Like the entertainment in it is kind of like, you never lose sight of the fact that these people are just like, they're shilling politicians. They are like, they're spinning things many times without any sort of question of morality or ethics or anything like that. And they're salespeople. Like, that's really what we were seeing. We were seeing like salespeople evolving in the political realm. but it's still they're magnetic characters, which
Yeah.
is what makes this such an entertaining movie. A little bit repellent in what they're doing, but you're just kind of in awe of them because of how good they are at their jobs.
Yeah, I just like thought to myself maybe like an hour in, and it's only a 90-minute movie, and I thought to myself like an hour in, I was like, man, we are just a camera dropped in a room and it is flying by.
Yeah.
It's just so watchable watching this war room. Even you know, you were saying Huckster's Carville, reflexive of today's environment, has to defend Clinton about his ties to Russia or the time he went to Russia, and he's just like, yeah, I went to Russia, like, yeah, I know. And then they were like, well, what did he do there? And he was like, what? How am I supposed to know what he did when he went over there? I didn't go with him. And he's so like likable that you're just like, all is forgiven. Like,
Yeah.
But like that's the point. Like they're just hucksters like that. That's what they do. That's how they sell their candidates or whatever.
Yeah.
That man could rob you.
Yeah.
And he would explain to you why it's fine. I didn't shoot you. You're gonna be okay. And blah, 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 and you'd be like, oh, okay.
Here's my
Have a nice day.
Yeah.
My life is better now for you having done this to me.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I support you.
Yeah, like that's how he could do it. That's how he could spin it, man.
Yeah, let's move on. To
Death
Wish 5.
I'll finish.
Does anybody have any more notes on War
I'll
Room?
finish off just the few of the notes I took. The theater marquee had Honeymoon in Vegas for $1.50 each seat, which was amazing to think about.
Not that long ago, tickets were $1.50.
George looks a lot like Eric Bischoff, if anyone is a wrestling fan out there.
He does.
Yeah. And we had these things that came out of the bottom of the phone, cords.
Ooh,
yeah.
what are those?
That was weird.
Do they have those? Do they have those next to the VCRs?
the weird glove conspiracy that we kind of made up with the Regent Cajun just wearing one glove, and then the next shot is switches hands. Like,
yeah, he was
on?
only wearing. Yeah, this was the night before. Like I think
the night before the election, right?
Yeah. We had no idea why. He was indoors. He was in his office. I don't know what was going on. We think maybe he's a nail biter.
Maybe.
And put his gloves on to keep him from biting his nails. I'm a nail biter, and that's something I've done before sometimes.
So am I. Yeah. I wear my gloves when I drive so I don't smash them down. We had 50-cent drafts right before the actual election, which all of us were excited about.
Yeah, we were like, where's that at? Can we go?
I was like, can we go there for
And then George got eye-fucked by the secretary, and all of us are like,
They had sex.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Like, George Stephanopoulos, 30 years old, running communications for this thing. First of all, baller. So, like, second of all, was probably betting every, like, woman on that campaign. He looked like a lady killer. He was a hunky dude.
Yeah.
All 5'2" of them.
Yeah, and just like exuding cool though.
Yeah.
Like truly, like I was quite impressed. I was a little turned on.
Well, you know.
Well, that denim jacket.
That denim jacket sold. But also, who else were we turned on by a little bit?
Hillary
was looking like a mad fox, even though she wasn't allowed to speak the entire campaign.
Yeah.
She was looking good in 92. Did you have any more notes on War Room before we jump into the
muck?
Yeah, before we get into the trenches of Death Wish 5, The Face of Death.
No, I think we've drug our listeners through enough politic talk, so let's move on to
that highfalutin white collar talk.
Fucking liberals. Let's move on to some real shit. Death Wish 5.
The Face of Death. A surprisingly sleepy movie.
Yeah, not a lot happens in this film.
You're right.
This is the back to the basics after the insanity that was Death Wish 3 and 4. But funnily enough, Alex has never seen any of the Death Wish movies, and when I told him that I wanted him to come on for this one specifically, I said, don't watch any of them.
Yeah,
let's just jump in on 5 and just see how you feel. So we just could get an honest gauge for like...
And sorry.
Nothing. I mean, I was just more surprised at how, somnambulant the whole thing was. It was just like, he just kind of walks around. He barely shoots his gun, for God's sake. Not many guns get shot in this movie.
He barely walks. He's in his car watching them most of the time, which gives him the opportunity to sit the whole movie. They tried to make a more serious movie, but in turn made a sleepier movie. But the sort of like time bomb that they had in the movie that they didn't really use enough of was Michael Parks as the villain.
Oh, yeah. He's actually pretty great.
Oh, I couldn't
He's
take
a highlight for sure.
Couldn't take my eyes off the screen when he was on screen. Every line is just juicy.
He's Irish Trump.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, I fucking hate Trump with a passion, but, like, someone playing a character of it is so watchable. Like, because he's making fun of it, you know, and that's awesome. So, like,
just chewing scenery.
From his first moment on screen, he's walking backstage as women are changing at a beauty pageant that he owns. I mean, it's not subtle.
with these tinted sunglasses and this like double-breasted suit that's just so tacky.
And the worst haircut ever. Like
it's like a weird like bastardization of the Caesar haircut that Clooney would popularize later in the 90s.
Yeah.
Boobs within 5 seconds.
Yes. Actually, that's a great. Like lights came up, boobs.
Yes. Yeah, it was amazing, and
like first shot.
Terrible fashion show where they're walking, and those poor models in those shitty wigs.
Yeah,
so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Michael Parks runs the shop that makes the clothes beneath
where they actually put on the fashion show.
I don't think anybody who made this movie has any understanding of how clothing manufacturing or the fashion world works, because in this building, in the basement of the building or the first level or whatever, is this very loud, very dangerous textile shop. I don't know if anybody's ever been into a textile wear. That shit is loud. You can't do anything else in that building. But on the floor above is an artsy venue with a catwalk where they are showing the fashions.
Yeah.
At the same time as the clothing is being manufactured very loudly right below them.
Now, what made that textile particularly dangerous?
Oh, the acid bath, possibly, and the buzz saws, and the what else did they? Everything was electrical.
Yeah.
Where anything anybody touches, they could explode. We learned in the final scene.
Yeah, like that. But that acid bath is just. There are no barriers around it. It's just kind of in the middle of this warehouse.
Yeah, you're just like, look out for the acid bath, guys. Like, don't step in it.
Yeah, it's just like there's not even like a lip to it. It's just like, oh, there it is. It's just a pit, and it's just no signs, no nothing, and it's just a big tub.
And the screenplay writer, which went on to create Face Off and Tomb Raider,
the story writer,
yeah.
They don't even put a line in there that it would explain why there's an acid bath in a textile. No. You know how they usually do with sci-fi? They're like, oh, well, this jumbly jubilee, this is why we can do all this.
Yeah.
They don't do it.
No, they're just like, here
it is.
Here it is. And then they abandon it. I mean, it will come back. Bronson proceeds to go, well, first, because of the relationship with Bronson and the ex-wife of Michael Parks, Parks decides to go send to one of his goons who shows up in drag and catches her in the women's bathroom.
For no particular reason.
And he is in full drag, not just like a guy in a wig hiding out in the bathroom. Like, it is full drag to take the ex-wife and throw her into a mirror.
Yeah. Pretty gratuitous.
It's pretty nasty.
Yeah.
But that guy, that actor, what's the actor's name?
Robert Joy.
Robert Joy just taken this opportunity to really eat it up.
As Freddie Flakes, the gangster with dandruff, is his like gimmick for the movie, which is pretty amazing actually.
He leaves dandruff wherever he goes.
Yeah, like even the police officers are like, "Did you see dandruff on the scene?"
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Michael Parks and Joy there like. Could you imagine just putting those two, making those two star in a film? I would watch that.
I want to watch their story. Yeah, I don't give a shit about Bronson.
I'm wondering if Joy was just like, he came on set and he's like, all right, I got this idea.
Yeah, guaranteed.
What if my guy has dandruff? Like, that's his thing. The director's just, like, drunk on the other side of this. Yeah, sure, cool.
Or dandruff, just, like, coked out of his mind. And it's just like, I love it. Dandruff. It's great. It's a great idea. I think we can run with it. We'll call him Freddie Flakes. It'll be great.
Writing it into the script right now. Here we go.
Yeah.
New pages! Got new pages!
So these Irish mobsters end up hunting them down into whatever Bronson's character's name, I can't remember now.
Kersey?
Kersey.
Death Wish. I'm gonna call him Death Wish.
Yes.
From now on.
His name is Death Wish.
So Kersey, if you don't remember, is an architect. So when you are introduced to his house, it's massive and it's full of pots. Lots and lots of pots. And we found out what Irish gangsters are really good at. And it's destroying pots.
Yes, because they naturally, after they throw the woman into a mirror, they have to show up at her or his house where she's staying and throw her out the window then.
Yep.
Because after they destroy every pot that they can find in that house.
So many inserts of pots shattering through gunfire. Yep.
It's amazing.
God. There's more pot carnage than there is like actual like human carnage in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
if you like guns shooting ceramics, this is your fucking movie.
Yeah. Do you guys like seeing people shooting clay pigeons? It's like that, but inside a house
and not moving.
Thrilling stuff.
So they killed a woman because women are bad. And that's pretty much what canon stands for.
Yeah, well, any Death Wish movie, women are just fodder to be raped or killed.
Yeah, at least no rapes in this.
No rapes, thank God. They've grown up a little bit. The
first Death Wish with no rape.
Yes.
And only.
Therefore.
Yeah, well, we have a new one.
We have a new one, which we'll talk about next week. But
I'll put money down that's got a rape in it.
Oh, yeah.
At least one.
I am going in rape ready because I am sure it's going to happen.
What if Eli Roth gets raped in it? And it throws us all for a twist.
It would immediately be my favorite Eli Roth movie.
I wouldn't even be surprised. It'd be like, yeah, of course. Like, it'd be like, of course Eli Roth wrote himself getting raped into this movie. No surprise there. I like Eli Roth, but I'm probably the only one. But I think that, the idea of the remake is fucking stupid. Anyway, so
pumped. It's a disaster. The utter disaster.
We should also bring up, so he is under witness protection. Kersey's under witness protection in this film.
But he is constantly called by his real name and pointed out that he is in witness protection.
Like, what is wrong with this?
Oh, this is Paul Kersey. He's in witness protection. He shot a bunch of people.
And the movie weirdly follows the people who are monitoring him as he's under witness protection, but to no real end.
No conclusion.
It just sort of peters off. But there's a subplot about one of them sort of being a double agent, but it really doesn't go in. He's actually working for Michael Parks, but there's no resolution to this. He just kind of disappears. Great character actor Miguel Sandoval plays the double agent.
And a terrible Wikipedia picture.
yeah, posing next to some jabroni with a gun. But famously in many Alex Cox movies, he collaborated with Alex Cox, director of Repo Man, Sid and Nancy, a number of others. I'm a big fan of Alex Cox, so it was cool to see Miguel in there. As a Latino in a Death Wish movie that plays a villain but is not a frothing at the mouth monster.
Right, which is nice. I mean, this whole thing that was
again,
really
progress.
Yeah, what was really interesting to us with doing War Room and Death Wish was that it was like this liberal documentary about getting a liberal into office and everything like that versus like a conservative series about pro guns. When pushed too far, we have to take the law into our own hands and kill all the brown people. But this one, it really, by now, I don't even necessarily think it's progress. I just think they are checked out of ideas.
They maybe ran out of ideas.
It almost isn't that conservative bend anymore. Like, it's almost, we call it like Home Alone because he was barely using the gun. He was using different tricks and stuff to kill the bad guys.
A remote-controlled soccer ball
is a bomb at one point.
Yeah, was a weapon of choice. Was very, very odd.
But at least Frankie Flakes went out well.
Yeah,
I mean,
with a bang.
was with a bang. Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Now, what they should have done after he exploded, though, if this movie was clever, had it kind of been snowing. Like his dandruff exploded.
Oh!
See, maybe that would have been in Death Wish 3 or 4.
Yeah. Like a more
really
ballsy director would have made that choice. But anyway, that was... So it has lost sort of its conservative edge by 5.
Just go over the top. Why are you playing it so safe? Because gun props don't cost a lot of money. Squibs don't cost a lot.
Right.
I just feel like it was a combination of we don't have enough money, so let's take it back, even though we shouldn't, because if they could travel 15, 20 years in the future, they would know. The reason we love Death Wishes is because you are so over the top.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not for the nuanced character work.
Yeah, it is because we want to see stuff explode. But I will mention something that I saw when reading a little bit about this movie. People that like the first movie really like this one for some reason.
I don't understand
why. And like
why.
I said, it definitely loses its sort of conservative edge, if you will. It's kind of boring and doesn't have like sort of the craziness of 3 and 4. But for some reason, the fans of the original seem to like this one.
Yeah, and maybe it comes from a place of like there is at least like an effort to try to make it a little bit more of a straightforward or like quote unquote respectable movie. So like, and there was enough love for this character and the history behind this character that maybe they feel a sort of connection to that, where they're like, oh yes, like they're treating it with the respect it deserves rather than turning it into this cartoon.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
boo! I want a cartoon.
Yeah, no, like that's what I signed up for with this series, was how cartoonishly over the top can we go. But yeah, I agree, and I think too also, you know, this movie's 20 years after the original. The audience has gotten older too, and then this probably is just perfect, you know, fare for a 60-year-old to just throw on a Saturday afternoon before church, you know?
And maybe, it's not like that bloody, so they don't have to feel that bad about it.
Right, like it ages with them, but like in the 70s when they were like in their 40s and just starting families and they wanted to kill all the black people, like the first one was really satisfying for them.
Right.
And now they're older and calmed down and, you know, the kids are out of the house now.
And maybe they also, like, can relate to the fact that Charles Bronson, like, it hurts to move. And it's very obvious when you're watching this movie. And, like, these guys are like, yeah, man, it hurts to live. Like, I feel that, Bronson. I feel that, Death Wish. Like, I'm with you because, like, homeboy doesn't move.
He's so little.
He's like a very, very ineffective Jason Voorhees in this movie. Where he's just kind of slowly stalking it. It's almost comical because he really doesn't. He just kind of stands there and then maybe points his gun and walks slowly at somebody, and then like everybody's just kind of writhing on the ground waiting for Death Wish to like get to them.
Yeah.
And they're just over at like, oh no, it hurts, my God. And he's like, I got you. And just like it takes him like a minute to get there.
I mean, he kills a person with a cannoli. Like, he has slowed down.
He doesn't move.
He like just, watches a dude eat a cannoli that he maybe poisoned.
I'm really not sure what happened to the cannoli. Maybe he choked. I don't know. But like on the other end of the restaurant, it's just Charles Bronson sitting there watching him.
Yeah, he's like sipping an espresso.
Sipping an espresso. Like the fucking Kermit the Frog meme with the Lipton tea. That's like what it looked like.
Yeah.
Enjoy your cannoli. It's going to kill you eventually from all the sugar and you're going to get diabetes.
Yeah.
Oh, he happened to choke to death. Sweet, got it.
Yeah, he was like playing the long game. But he's like, oh shit, no, he's choking on it? Dope.
Easy for me.
Yeah. And the best part, he walks by, he's like, it says some like crummy one-liner, and then he just kind of like ineffectively shoves him forward like onto the table as he's like continuing to like choke and writhe. It's very just so like the pulse doesn't rise above like
pushing a dude over.
Yeah. Well, and then when we skip to the end and it's Michael Parks or what is it? O'Shea? Was that the gangster's name? Yeah. So O'Shea gets 3 other hired guns.
Yeah.
And we should also mention the body count in this is 6.
Single digits.
6, yeah.
Easily.
So we get 3 hired guns, and he essentially takes them out with, what was it? It was just like a little bitty lift truck. I don't know what those are called.
Yeah.
And then he rolls it towards them. They blow it up. They're like, oh no, it's a burning dummy. And then he sneaks around and he shoots them.
All 3 of the goons
That's
immediately.
It.
They have like assault rifles, and he has like a 6-shooter. And of course, it's the typical good guys have aim and the bad guys don't. He's got a 6-shooter. He's just like 1, 2, 3, pops them, and they're just like and like can't hit anything. And Charles Bronson can't like duck or run and hide behind anything.
Or he really move.
He just sort of leans on a little platform that he can aim his gun from. Like he just leans forward, and that's it.
He was 71, by the way, when he made this movie. 71 years old.
And that gun, by the way, was the Colt King Cobra.
All right.
So if any of you want to go out there, jump out to a broker and buy it.
Yeah, if you're like, I want the gun from Death Wish 5, that's what it's called.
So I cannot shoot it like Charles Bronson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
please don't shoot it. Don't take it to any schools, you fucking idiots.
Yes. Guns, right?
Yeah.
But you mentioned we all suspect, I think, over the course of this movie, I don't think he ever unloads that gun fully. I don't think he takes 6 shots out of that gun for the entire movie.
Yeah, I wish we would have counted, but I'm assuming it's 4.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's it. And then he throws the gun down, and takes a shotgun from one of the goons.
He doesn't even shoot the shot.
He's gonna blow Parks' head off because he's like the final guy left. He's gonna blow him apart, and he uses the shotgun to push him into the acid bath.
Into the acid bath. Then there's the acid bath. It came back.
It came back.
Yay!
Yeah. And Michael Parks melts in the acid bath, which is pretty awesome. There's another good death too, where one of the goons falls into what I'm assuming is some sort of like press for clothes, because it's like the 2 gears turning together, so I'm assuming it's some sort of press. The guy falls in there, and it's like pretty like goreless and boring when he falls in, but then it cuts to the bag where chunks of him are falling into, and that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
I'm kind of wondering what that machine was originally for, if not for chopping up humans.
It's the human smasher that all factories have.
All textile factories.
Yeah, they have things that just can turn humans into mincemeat, which actually, that's probably true.
So our guest star, Alex here, found a pretty good tidbit on Mr. Charles Bronson.
Yeah, well, what's interesting about this, especially since this is a show about VHS and the analog stuff that's kind of floating around, Charles Bronson, ever the savvy businessman, was one of the first actors to get clued into the VHS craze, and was one of the first actors to begin asking for, in his contracts, clauses in which he was guaranteed a portion of home video profits. This led to a large windfall of cash later in his career, which led to him leaving behind an enormous, like, 8-figure estate, like an $80 million estate in Malibu.
Gosh, it's crazy.
Which, like, he was making money hand over fist, and he understood knock him all you want, but he understood his audience, and he knew where the money was coming from. And he was getting old. As you see in Death Wish 5, he doesn't move so good. So he needed to make sure he could, I guess, retire comfortably, which he sort of did after this movie.
Yeah, this was his last theatrical feature we found. But, I mean, obviously, this number of the 800,000 units of the Death Wish 1 through 4 tapes.
Yeah.
That, I mean, if that's an accurate figure, that's where the money was going, probably.
Right.
These Death Wish movies were probably paying for that $80 million estate.
Now, that's not to say he wasn't making money on the front end either.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Charles Bronson's salary for Death Wish 5 was a reported $5 to $6 million. The same or possibly even more than the budget for the rest of the film itself, which is estimated to be about $5 million.
Yeah, and the only thing they add to this is, like, they say $2.6 million was used for advertising of this movie,
right.
which could just be a flagrant lie. Like, it may not even be true at all.
Yeah, who knows? These guys were being audited by the IRS at that point, so there could have just been fraud going on left and right.
Yeah.
So.
I do wonder how they got any movies off the ground, because you had all that nasty stuff going on in canon, and then he comes over here and starts 21st century films
while canon is being audited.
Yeah,
right?
while canon is being, like,
so he can keep making movies,
like, shredded and just cut down by the IRS, trying to figure out where all this money is. And, like, I know they owed a lot of people money.
Yeah.
I guess they just
how
did
these
they do
accurate?
that? Yeah, like, how do you guys do that? And I think the reason the budget got cut in this, and this is just me assuming, I never read this or anything, I'm assuming they're like, yeah, we'll make this movie for $8 million. We'll pay Bronson like $2 million because he's so old. And then Bronson's like, you can't make this movie without me. I want $5 million. And they're like, oh, shit, he's right.
Maybe he just, like, kind of sucked up a lot of that projected budget for the movie.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if it paid off for them.
Oh, because that's got the box office.
So this movie was released January 14th, 1994 in a limited release.
Yeah.
In January dumping month. With the budget, we said probably around, at bare minimum, $10 million.
Yeah. At
most, maybe $12 million-ish.
Yeah, when you add in the marketing or whatever.
Opening weekend made $503,000.
Whoa.
Opening weekend. So, not even $1 million. $500,000. and the total gross was $1,702,000.
Yeesh.
So they only made $1 million on a $10 million movie in theaters, and I guarantee they made the money back on the VHS. I'm sure, because it was printing money in '94. But like that hurts still to have that opening box office of only $1 million.
Yeah. Now, see, I wonder at this point, was the United States and everyone, were we tired of action films? Because it kind of hit the pinnacle top with T2.
I think so.
There was a little bit of a. I feel like there was a little bit of a stagnation at this time, like '94. I mean, you had Pulp Fiction coming out later in the year, but that was like a different kind of movie.
That wasn't an action movie,
right? Exactly.
That was maybe marketed as an action movie, but it was very little action.
Right.
In
it was very stagnant. I really don't think it was like. I feel like things like kicked back in with like the Jerry Bruckheimer, Michael Bay kind of brand of action that came in like a couple years later with stuff
Armageddon,
like Bad Boys, Con Air, Face Off, Air Force One, like where that boom kind of happened between like 95 and 97, and this just kind of.
This was the end of a different era type thing.
Yeah.
Like 94, people were just like done with this shit.
Yeah, they kind of hit a rock bottom there.
And then we had Matrix, and it fucking changed everything for 10 years because we still had to have all those people in leather jackets and
we had
everything was filtered.
That
New
version.
Metal,
Yep.
Blade as well.
You guys are talking about my childhood again.
Yeah, that's that good stuff.
I actually bought the DVD of this still wrapped for $0.01 and paid $1.95 in shipping and handling.
Somebody was just like, get it out of my house.
So I've watched Death Wish 5 twice now in the past week and a half.
Yeah. Both in pan and scan full screen, nonetheless, though, even though you watch the DVD.
The DVD is pan and scan full screen.
It's just
a VHS transfer.
You have a choice. You can watch it in 4:3 or you can fill the screen. And I was like, 4:3, you fuckers.
Oh, stretch.
Stretch it. Oh, my God.
Before we go to the museum, we have to ask the question, if you see this movie... Okay, let's do it this way. We already said if we found this, we'd pick it up as a collector because it's interesting.
Right.
If you find the War Room just sitting in the Goodwill, just War Room, do you pick it up?
Yes. Loved it.
Yeah, I agree. The War Room was a surprise hit to me. I mean, I know it was up for an Oscar, but I'm sure there's tons of documentaries I wouldn't like up for an Oscar. This one it just nailed it.
Yeah,
it was a fun movie.
It was funny, entertaining, and quick.
Yeah. It was faster paced than Death Wish 5.
It had more action,
more going on.
It is literally a movie about guys talking in a room, and it was more interesting than an old guy running around with a gun.
Yeah, well, running being the operative.
Yeah, right. Not really running.
Yeah, no, he couldn't run.
What about you, Matt? Would you recommend The War Room?
Yeah, pick it up. It's I don't rewatch documentaries, so I don't think I would necessarily buy it to own it to rewatch. But if you've never seen it before and you come across it for like $1, definitely pick it up. It's worth watching. On the flippy, if you come across Death Wish 5 at the video store, do you pick it up?
Alex, go first. I don't want to touch it.
Hard pass. But I will say this, having this being the only Death Wish film I've seen, I am now actually really hungry to watch the other ones just because I want to see how it got to this. It's such a boring nothing movie where like nothing happens, where there has to be some like meat or at least like some delightful trash to be discovered in the past entries that I'm actually really excited to get into. I would get it if it was a box set of all 5.
Gotcha.
Because I would then just like have them all as a collection, and then I could watch the first 4 and just like revel in the disgusting
filth
trash that is the Death Wish series, which weirdly this has me primed for. I don't know why.
I gotta actually say no this time too, unless you find it for like a penny, like you did, or like a quarter in a thrift store, and you like Michael Parks, and you just want to watch a silly performance. You can honestly buy it for a penny and fast forward to his scenes, and then like put it away and never watch it again. But I'm gonna say no unless you want to see that. Or if you're a completist like me, I own this because I own all 5 Death Wish movies.
Yeah, I would pass on this too. This is just an old man desperately trying to hold on. But, I mean, kudos to him for getting all that money.
Yeah.
But I say skip 5 and 2. Just watch 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah,
1 because
the ones you
it's
need. Yeah, and those are the ones you need.
1's good. 2 is dirty. 3 is way over the top bizarre. 4 is, it's about crack.
Yeah.
and they're trying to be, I wouldn't even say progressive in 4, but they're trying to blame white people for all the drug problems.
Yeah, they're backtracking now. They're backpedaling on their racism.
Well, and they were kind of ahead of the curve there. Now that's just like common knowledge, where it's like, yeah, the CIA brought crack into the hood. Like that's how that worked. But but back then that was a little fringe.
Yeah, there was a time period in the early 90s, mid 90s where it shifted to like white businessmen were always the ones to blame. Like you had that kind of like Fern Gully effect where they're destroying the environment, they're sending crack everywhere. It was always
it was the end of the Reagan era.
Yeah, no, good point.
The times were changing.
Yeah, let's put something in the museum now here. So every week we always look at the movies we watch, and we want to find one thing that is either the gold that we've sifted through and found to put in the museum, or a lump of coal that we want to put in to learn from. So I'll let you guys take it away. What's going in the museum this week?
In the war room, I am putting that denim jacket in the museum. I want that thing. And I guess in the museum part for Death Wish, I'll put in the museum, I'm putting Frankie Flakes in there because that character actor, everything he's in, even when it was the Hills Have Eyes remake and Land of the Dead, it's just, he's so good in front of the camera.
Yeah, Robert Joy is awesome.
Yeah, Robert Joy.
He's a great character actor. I love that choice.
I liked it.
Mine, for War Room, the Carville shirt is going in mine, so another article of clothing. I want that shirt. The Mardi Gras rugby collared shirt is amazing. And for Death Wish 5, I am throwing in exploding remote control soccer balls in the museum because it is just, yes, exactly.
Wow.
It's Home Alone in a Death Wish movie.
Yeah. Hey, Kitty.
Our
Kitty, you want to put something in the museum, Kitty? In the War Room, my museum pick would be Carville's last speech. Again, this is a movie where you're seeing hucksters selling shit for about an hour and a half. But there is a really great moment right before the election begins, right before Election Day, where Carville's sort of giving a speech to his troops, and he breaks down. He begins to cry, and it's a really fascinating speech where he talks about sort of how he got there, and he sort of sums up the way that he and George Stephanopoulos were running things, and how he thinks it will like change the way that elections are run. And you saw who James Carville the person was in that moment, and it's a really kind of hallmark moment and a pretty amazing captured moment, like on the fly in documentary filmmaking. So that's what I put for the War Room. Death Wish 5, I think you maybe left this for me to pick up. I'll put Michael Parks in there.
I knew someone had to.
Because a great Michael Parks performance is always valuable.
Every Michael Parks performance, for the most part, is a great Michael Parks performance.
Right. He is a great actor. I've seen better Michael Parks performances, but you can just see him digging for something worth remembering.
The only silver lining of losing Michael Parks is the fact that he is being appreciated now.
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry, Michael Parks. In a few years, you're going to be in Dust Till Dawn, and then you're just going to take off.
You're gonna get a little second act to your career. I mean, he had a nice run on Twin Peaks at around this. A little bit
that's
earlier
true.
Than
But
this.
it's like TV, so at this time period, I still think TV was kind of looked down upon.
Yeah,
like,
even
David
Twin
Lynch
Peaks,
TV.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In this Death Wish movie, Parks is your loaded gun.
Yeah. He's really the only thing when the guns aren't shooting. It's which they really don't shoot much at all. He's the only guy that really brings the fireworks.
Yep.
Well, and Mr. Joy as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
On a
Frankie
smaller
Flakes.
scale, Frankie Flakes as well.
All right, well, we're running a little bit long here, but it was great to have our special guest Alex here.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
it was great.
For coming.
It was so fun.
And remember to check out information on Hororama.
Yes.
You can do that on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yep.
Yes, all three. Windy City Hororama. We also have a website, windycityhororama.com. where you can check out updates.
Yes.
And if you are interested, any of those are a great way to contact us, keep in touch with us if you're interested in being a part in any capacity.
For sure, absolutely.
We are a horror family here in Chicago, and we want to support each other and help each other out.
And that's what it's all about. So April 27th through the 29th
Mark it on your calendars.
at the Davis Theater in Chicago, Illinois. Even if you're not in Chicago, it would be worth coming down to see. I promise you, we have so many tricks up our sleeve.
Yeah,
so
it's going to be a big party. So excited to reveal the lineup. It's going to be fun.
Thank you for coming on and talking the fest with me.
Yes, of course.
And next week, come back because we're not done with Death Wish.
Mm-mm.
We are doing Seeing Double in March. So for our non-VHS mini episode, we are going to go see the Eli Roth directed, Joe Carnahan written remake of Death Wish.
Debatable Joe Carnahan.
Yeah.
According to Joe Carnahan.
Yeah, credited Joe Carnahan, but probably more likely Eli Roth Death Wish movie.
Where he may or may not get raped. We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
That's why I'm buying my ticket.
God bless MoviePass because this one's on them.
Well, thank you for listening again this week, and you can rate and review us on iTunes or listen to us on Podbean. And remember to be kind.
Rewind.